Hello everyone. Topic for today's discussion is the library NumPy. So we are going to talk about this library after, you can say in continuation to the Core Python playlist. I'm going to initiate the library first time, which is NumPy. So we are going to talk about this. What basically the NumPy is. If you say that this is particularly for the mathematical functions in when you people will be dealing with the huge amount of data, so we need lot of manipulation calculation as well. So doing all those calculation manually will be painful, and obviously will take lot of time, and there we will be having a lot of chance for errors as well. So just to avoid those manual calculation and use line of code, we are going to utilize Python predefined package, or you can say the library, which is NumPy. So NumPy as a library which support us for a huge amount of mathematical calculations, and you can say we'll be taking care of the arrays and matrices. So this is all about the definition, but you will be able to know in detail if we are going to explore it with some examples. Before going to start with this, first we need to understand that this should be installed to our environment. If we are going to use this library, it should be installed. So to install it, we have these two commands, conda install numpy and pip install numpy. Like I'm using Jupyter, uh, I'm into the Anaconda environment, so that is already installed. I don't have to install it. If it is not, so using these two commands, you can directly install to your environment. Now if it is installed, to use it, first we have to import it. So to import it, how we are going to this, let me write it. We are going to import it like this: import numpy as np. So what is np here? NP is alias. You can use any name, but the whole community follow the same rules and regulations. So the entire Python community give it a small name, or this small, or you can say the alias as NP. So we are also going to use it as NP only. So if import numpy is NP. So this way it has been imported to your environment or to your this notebook. Now we need to check whether it is imported or not. So let me create a basic list, and then I'll check it out whether it is created or not. So to check it, let me use this. I'm going to convert as a numpy array. So here it is. You see that it has been converted, and if you store it to the different variable, let's say I'm storing it to this, and if I'm going to check the type of double A, so that will be a n dimensional array. NumPy ND array. So it is clear that NumPy has been imported to our environment. If it is not, first you have to import it. Now we are going to talk about that what we are going to cover when we are going to start it. So first we'll check that NumPy basically we people will be dealing with different type of you can say the arrays. So first we'll create some arrays using the random module of NumPy, and then we are going to perform some operations on them. So let me create the array. First I'm going to create, let's say creating array, and creating NumPy array. I can give it a name like this, and I in the same cell I'm going to create three different dimensionals array. So let's say x1. I'll be using the random module of NumPy. So guys, if we talk about array, so what is array? Array is simply, you can say, the collection of similar data type. We have read that in our school as well, and we know that array is basically a collection of similar data type. When we have the similar data types all together, so we give it a name of array. Whether the list was the array or not, list can be an array, but it is not always an array. If we are holding similar data type like we have here in A, so A is holding a similar data type, so we can say that A is also an array. But if we store different data types into this, so that then in that case that will not be an array. So let me create it. I have used NP because the name of my NumPy library is going to be NP here. So NP dot random basically a module which is there in NumPy, and from the random I am going to use rand int. Why randint? Because I am going to use random integers. I need random number, but what type of random number? I need integer. So that's why I have used rand int. And I'm going to use, let's say, from 0 till 20. So I need number which starts from 0 till 20. And how many numbers I needed? So I'll mention those in size. So let me run this and let me call x1. So you see that this is an array and that is a one-dimensional array, and we have the random integers here which starts from 0 and goes till 20. If we give a different number here, then the output will be different as per our the passed argument or the value. You say we have given 10, so it has taken 0 till 10 and the size is 10. If you reduce or give a different size, so the value will get changed. Here it is. Now I'm creating a different another array which is x2, and I'll be using the same concept, np.random.randint. Here it is. And let's say if I write 10, what does it mean? 0 from it will start from 0, I will go till 10, and size I need two-dimensional array, so I have to pass rows and columns as well. So I have given 3, 4. What does it mean? It means that I need array which have 3 rows and 4 columns, and here it is. So that is the two-dimensional array, and the x1 was one-dimensional array. We'll be seeing that in detail in attributes as well. So let me run this and let me call x2 as well. Here it is. And you see that we have 3 rows and 4 columns. And the number which we are going to, we have generated starts from 0, goes till 10. So if you change this value, so the output will get changed. Now I'll be creating a three-dimensional array here only. So the same NumPy np random and the random integer only. Let me give this size only, and here I have to pass 3 argument. First argument is for the dimension, or you can say the number of arrays. So I have mentioned 3, and then again I have mentioned 4, and then 3. What does it mean? It means that will be a 3 dimension obviously, but the number of arrays will be 3 with 4 rows and 3 columns. So here it is, the 3-dimensional array. So let me run it, and I'm going to call x3 here. You know, we generate a different numbers when we call it again and again, because we are calling the random values. So you see that x3 is here. And how many arrays we have in x3? 4 rows and 3 columns. So this is how we have created 3 type of different arrays using NumPy random module. Now I'm going to talk about the indexing of these 3 different types of arrays. Indexing of 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. So for 1-dimensional, I believe you all are aware of it, 1-dimensional indexing. So our 1-dimensional array is x1. To index it, we simply use a square bracket, and let's say we want to extract this 4 from here. So this indexing start from 0. So we'll simply count it 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. If you are going to pass 4, it will give you this value. And for 0, we can have 6. So here it is. And simply if we want to extract the range, so the range will be something like this. In case you want to extract from 2 till 5, last range is excluded. exactly similar like we used to do in list or in core Python. So once you run it, it starts from 2 index, which is 0 1 2 means 6, and goes till 4 because 5 is excluded. So 0 1 2, it starts from 6 and goes 3 4 till here. 5 is excluded. In case you needed 0 as well, so you will be passing 6 in place of 5. So here it is. So this way we do some indexing. And the other way to do it, let's say I want to extract all the elements after 4 index. So simply I'll pass it like this and I'll run it. It extract all after 4 index. And the same way we can write it all before 3 index. So I'll be passing it like this. And in case you want to do some negative indexing, exactly similar for we used to apply on list. So it starts from -1. We reverse indexing, you can say. So at the last element you see in our x1 array is 0. In case you want to extract 9, so you'll be passing it something -2. And for this 0, -3, and so on. Now we are talking about the intervals basically. In case you want to extract in certain elements based on the interval, so how we are going to use it? Let's say x1, and we want every second element which starts from 0. So how I'll be writing? We'll be writing something like this. So it means it will start from 0. Let me call x1 so that you can validate it. It starts from 0, which is 6. Every second means first second means this 6 and this 4, this 9, and then we are done with this. In case we want every third, so you simply replace it with 3 and you see it has extracted every third element. It starts from 0, 1 2 3, and then 1 2 3. Here it is. So if you don't pass any value to this, that then also it will take from 0 index, you see. But in case you have given some value, let's say I want to extract every third element from second index. So it will start from 0 1 2 from this 6, and it will take every third, means only the 0 value will come out as a 6 and 0. It starts from second position. So 0 1 2, this is the position, and then every third 1 2 3, and then we don't get any third value because it's only two elements there, 1 2. And if you starts from 1, let's say, and you extract every second element, so here it is at 1 position, 0 1 0 is there, and every second means 1 2 2 will be there, 1 2 0 will be there, and this 0 will be there. So this is how we do some indexing based on the interval. You can get your hand dirty with this type of things. Now we are going to apply the indexing on two-dimensional array. How we are going to use this? So let me call the x2 here so that you can validate the output as well. To do the indexing for two-dimensional array, you know, we need two parts. One is you can call it like a row, or you can call it as a column. So these 2461 is a row and 270 is a column. So let's say you want to extract this element, this 8, let's say. So this is at 0 1 index of row and 0 1 index of column. So how we are going to write it? X2, and we do indexing something like this, 1 comma 1, let's say. So it will extract like this. So you know, indexing is x2 square bracket, this is a row part, you can say, and then this is a column part. It is separated by comma. So everything which comes before comma, it represents the rows, and anything which comes after comma, it represents the columns. So let's say you want to extract, for example, this value. So how we are going to extract it? This is at 0 index, at 0 row, and what is the index of column? 0 1 2. So we are going to write it like this, x2 0 2, and here it is. Simply, first we are going to pass the index of row, then the index of column, and we can simply extract any value. For example, we want to give the let's say extract rows which starts from 0 till 2, or we want to extract column as well with a range which starts from 0 till 2. So the same thing will going to be applied here like we did for a one dimensional array, but it will be separated by comma only. Let me show you how it works. So 0 to, let's say, 2 rows and 0 to 2 columns. Let me run this, and here it is. And if you validate with the x2 array, you see 0, 1, 2 is excluded, so it will take only this part, these 2 rows, and the columns which starts from 0 to 2, so 0, 1. So the output will be 2, 4, 7, 8. And in case we want to extract 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 1, so what we are going to do, we will increase the index for column part. Here it is. I hope it is clear to you. So nothing will gonna change like we did for one dimensional, but for row and column we have to use comma here, and everything we are going to perform on basis of row, it will before comma, and whatever we want to do for the columns, it will be after that comma. So first, this first part represent the row 1 and this represent the column 1. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Let's say the same index, we can write this index like this as well. The syntax will be, let's say, all rows till 2 and all columns till 3. So you will see that the same output it will also generate, right? So here it is. Now you know that in case we went to, we need to do some indexing on two-dimensional array. So this way we can do it. Now we come up, you try it. In case of any confusion, we can discuss that part later as well. Now we are going to apply certain indexing on the three-dimensional array. So you see that here for x2 we used to have rows and columns, but now in case you want to extract this value, so you have to tell that in which array you need to perform this operation. So here we will be having three values all together. X3, one is the index for the array. Let's say the index of this array is 0, 1. So I'll be passing 1, and I need to extract this 7. So the row number will be 1, right? And what is the column? That will be 0. So it will give you output as 7. Now let's say I want to extract the value of 3. So how I'll be writing this? So the index for my array will be 2, because we have 3 arrays. So 0, 1, 2. And the row will be 0, 1, 2 and column 0, 1. So the syntax will be x3, 2, 2, 1. Here it is. We have extracted this 3. Clear? Means the position of the array, in which array you want to perform operation, and the rows and then the columns. And let's say in case you want to extract this value, how we are going to use it? First, we have to reach to the array which is at 0 index, then to the row which is at 0, and then to the column which is at 2. So 0, 0, 2. Let me run this. This is 0, 0, 2. So it will extract 3 as well. Fine. So this is how we do some indexing for the different type of arrays, you can say, for the one-dimensional array, for two-dimensional array, and for three-dimensional array as well. You try it at your end. In case you have any confusion, we can talk to this part later. Now we are going to talk about the different, for example, the attributes that we have in Python. Let me give it to you. For example, you want to extract the dimension of any array. How we are going to use it? In case we want to check the data type, so let's say we want to check the dimension of array. How we are going to do this? And the shape of array. And next is let's say the size of any array. And for example, let's say the shape, size, and the dimension. Now we are going to talk about the item size. Item size of any array. And then the number of bytes that any array utilize. Number of bytes of any array. So let me do it for you. First, let's say you want to know about the dimension of any array. Let's see dimension of x3. So we are going to call it or write it like this. So it will give you the dimension of any array. In case you want to apply this for x2 dot and dim, and it will give you two dimensional. Now we are talking about the shape. What exactly this shape is? Shape means the total number of rows, total number of columns, and the dimension of that array, or the number of arrays, you can say. So this shape of x3 is 3 dimensional, 3 arrays, 4 rows, 3 columns. And the shape for x2 is, that is rows and columns, means we have 3 rows and 4 columns. Now we are going to talk about the size. X3 dot size. So what exactly size mean? Size means the total number of records that we do have in any array. So you see that in x3 array we have 4 rows 3 columns. So 4 rows 3 columns in 3 arrays. So 4 rows 3 columns, total 12 records in 3 arrays, and then it will going to calculate calculate the total number of records for you. Here it is, right? And if you are going to check the size for x2, here it is. So 3 rows, 4 columns, total 12 elements will be there. So here it is. You can check the size of any array. Now, that is the dimension. We are done with the shape as well. We are done with the size as well. Now we are going to talk about the item size. So item size, basically, it let you know the size in bytes of any of particular array element. So what number of bytes an element utilized for this array, it will give you that output. So here it is. Let me run this. Means every element utilize 4 bytes. So item side output is in bytes, right? Which is the memory, you can say, that utilize internally. So x3's per element takes 4 bytes. So how many elements we have in x3? 36. So total number of bytes we have in x3 and bytes. So 4 into 36, which is 144. So this way we can get the item size of any array and the number of bytes as well for any array, right? So now we are talking about, we will be talking about the different things of array. Let's say in next class. So these are some basic things that I have covered here. Now I am going to cover, for example, the indexing of array we have covered, attributes of array we have covered. So we are going to cover the slicing of an array, right? And then we are going to cover the reshaping of any array, right? Let's say you want to reshape any array in a different, for example, that is two dimension, we want to change the shape and want to make it 1 dimension or 3 dimension. Then joining of array, and then splitting of array. You can say the concatenation or stacking, something like that. And apart from this, we are going to cover some predefined functions of array as well. Let's say we want to create array with all the 0 elements, or with all the 1 element, or let's say you want to create an array with this for all 2 rows or 2 columns with the same value. So how we are going to use the predefined functions of NumPy. So that's it for today. You just create the arrays. First of all, import your NumPy and create the 1 dimensional, 2 dimensional, 3 dimensional array, and try to do the indexing so that you should know that how to extract a particular position from any array. And further, if we can extract, we can fill that value as well. So we are going to cover that part as well. So that's it for today. Fine, guys. Thank you. I'll see you in next class.